Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for November 9th. We're taking a look at the US Japanese yen pair. This particular pair I'm expecting to move between 99.40, which it gapped up almost to, and as low as 95.80. Now look for some resistance if it moves higher, which right now it doesn't look like it's going to do, at around the 100 mark. Look for support around 98.00. This pair gapped up, so the odds are very good odds, almost in the 90s, that it will continue down and close that previous, go down to the Friday's previous closing price. This pair overall, though, is moving sideways. The bias is sideways at this time, so unless we get a strong breakout to the upside or the downside, I'm looking for it just to move sideways. Now let's switch over to the Euro USD pair. This particular pair also gapped up, and I'm looking for it to move sideways. It's pretty much consolidating down. We have a strong consolidation. We have pivot points that are getting closer and closer as far as the range between them. So this pair is definitely moving sideways, definitely consolidating. So it's time to watch out for a breakout. We have looking for this pair to move between 129.37 and on the lower side 125.34. Now look for some resistance to come into this market around the 1.2900 level if it does move higher, and look for support around 126.50. Now switching to the pound US dollar pair, this particular pair also gapped up on the open and is headed down to the previous Friday's close, but hasn't made it there yet. I do anticipate it doing so. I am expecting it to move, though, between 159.82 on the high side, on the low side 153.71 for this particular pair. This pair is moving sideways, and the bias is sideways. It's consolidating down. We should see a breakout to the upside or downside in the near future. I believe it'll be to the downside, but we'll just have to see. Now switching over to the US Swiss, this particular pair is moving sideways, and I'm expecting it to move between 118.79 on the high side. On the low side, look for 116.09. Now, as far as resistance goes, we should see some resistance around the 117.77 level and support around 116.78. Now, as far as what I'm looking at on the weekly time frame, we talked about this last Sunday. Let's take a look at the pound Japanese yen pair on the weekly time frame. We talked last Sunday about the fact that this particular week was an inside bar, as you can see. And we also talked about how the previous inside bar that occurred, a break of that the previous week before that, this particular bar, we got a really strong move down. So we were looking for it basically to do the same thing this week. Unfortunately, that did not happen. What did happen, fortunately, though, was that we got another inside bar. So we have a double, 2 weeks basically in a row that have consolidated down from the week before it. That's a really good sign of a potential breakout. Now, will it be to the upside? Not sure. Downside? Not sure. But there's a couple ways you can play this. You can look for a break below this week's low at that point, or this week's high at this point, and basically just look for it to run up or run back down if it gets a break below there. Another way you could look at this is to draw some trend lines. That's not a very good one, but draw some trend lines, and if you get a break of your trend line, go ahead and buy or sell off of that, particularly this one to the downside. If we get a break of this trend line, these 2 points, which like to have more than 2 points, but If 2 is all you have, then that's all you have. Get a break there and basically look for it to bounce off this low. This is what I like about this play is if it does move lower, breaks through this point, it looks like it's around the 146.50 mark. You can put a stop loss of the previous close, possibly the previous low, and then look for it to move down to this week's low point. And at that point, you can decide, well, do I want to go ahead and take what looks like around 300 to 400 pips off the table, or do I want to continue, move my stop to break even, or maybe even a little bit, capture a little bit of that profit and see if it will run through this point. If it runs through it, then we could definitely see it go to this low, this session's low, or that week's low, rather. And if we get a break below that, well, then it could even run further. So have a couple options there on how to play this. But that's what I'm looking at for this week. We have the yen releasing their trade balance for September. The consensus is that it has gone up from negative 236 billion yen to a positive 236.3 billion yen. A trade balance is positive for the yen would be great for it. That's being released at 6:50 p.m. on Monday, and that's Eastern time. That pretty much does it as far as news announcements for Monday. So until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.